This is the last box from the first case of 3 as I continue to hunt for the God box, which again, if you are not familiar in Outsiders, there are some juiced boxes due to a printing error. They are incredibly rare, however, so even though I'm opening 3 cases, the reality is I don't expect to hit any of them, but I thought it would be kind of fun to, record all of my openings just to see if we do hit it. That being said, again, I'm also trying to keep these videos relatively short, or at least shorter. Turns out it's somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes to open a box if I'm doing so while like chatting through it. I know that I could probably do it faster. I know I tear through these whenever I am just doing it myself, but I'm also, trying to not just have this be a silent box opening thing. I'm trying to provide some value-added entertainment as I spill packs all over the place here and make a giant mess, but whatever. All right, so as soon as I get my life together, oh well, let's not say that. That's going to take way too long. But as soon as I get these packs together, we'll open the first pack here. As I fight a sneeze again. I'm recording this as I'm trying to recover from a cold that feels like it's been holding on for like 2 weeks. Get the camera to reset here. And I feel fine, minus like the occasional like congestion and sneezing, but it'll creep up. I'll go hours and I'll almost forget that I'm even still getting over being sick. And then I'll get like a tickle and I'll either like start coughing and essentially cough something up, or I'll have to fight a sneeze unexpectedly. So we have a hurl, a recoil, a withering shot, and that. So not anything of note in the first pack, but that's okay. Can't always start with a winner. And yeah, I just feel bad because like I want to record more, but that's also one of the reasons that like I've just not been doing more videos, because if I'm being entirely honest, I'm struggling to get through these without having something pop up, whether it's like racing to go blow my nose or whatever. So anyway, we have a Wreck Havoc, spinning wheel kick, a foil brush off. This is another one of those cards that I think just looks really good in foil. And that's it for that. As we try to, again, speed through these. As soon as I start feeling 100% better, though, I want to record more. I want to stream more. I want to play some games on Talishar, but also Legends of Runeterra just rotated their cards, right? They did their first ever like rotation, and so it's like almost like a brand new game because they also did it along with an expansion. And I'm like dying to dive in, but I just haven't necessarily had the free time. And we get our first Majestic, and it's of course blurry because my camera. I apologize. So if you're for whatever reason just diving into video number 4 and you're not watching the full series, this is just like a top-down webcam. I hope to improve things later this year, but that requires money and time. So we're doing the best we can, but we get our first Majestic. It is a Gore Belching, along with a foil Infectious Host, red Wreck Havoc, and the rest is not noteworthy, but that's okay. We had our first Majestic. I think it was in the first video for this series. I mentioned that Gore Belching is a card I'm keeping my eye on, mostly because when Dusk Till Dawn comes out, I want to see how New Chain works with the banish mechanics and the blood debt and so forth. I feel like Gore Belching has the potential to be a card that you would want to include. So we have a Lace with Inertia, foil back heel kick, Silken Gi, and tokens. And I know again my camera's being a little bit goofy, but thankfully nothing we're seeing right now. I'll make sure to fix the camera as we get to the good stuff here for you, but for now we're just gonna let it readjust on its own when it feels like it, because it's got a mind of its own. All right, so the last time this happened, so when you open these packs, I always open them back end first for whatever reason. It's just the way that I tear the seal on these amazing paper packs. So whenever you see this, you know it's a cracked bauble, and I always get debated because I feel like, okay, they're doing the cracked bauble thing to hide, you know, something really, really good. Because I had a friend who said, like, every time they opened a cold foil, there was a bauble with it. Now, that's not been my experience. The baubles always bait me. Previous video, we've already seen that once, but we'll probably see it here again. But it is kind of funny that I'm like conditioned because of something a friend said to now be like, bauble, even though it's going to be nothing. We do, however, we had another Majestic. We have a Spreading Plague. So again, this is a card that I'm actually a really big fan of in Uzuri. So happy to pull that. And then we get a foil Backstab. I'm excited about just because I think it looks good. Toxic Tips, and then of course the tokens, because again, it never works out for me. It's just one of those things. Like I didn't even experience it, but I've been trained like Pavlov's dog to see cracked bauble, and then I get excited when there's no reason for that. No spoilers if you have not seen all of the videos so far, but box number 3 from this case had something really good, and it was not with a cracked bauble. So again, the bauble is not a guaranteed marker. So here we'll jump down to the first rare, which is a Death Touch, followed by a Short and Sharp. Then we are fletching a Red Tail. Scout the Periphery Blue in foil. Seeker's Leggings and tokens. So we've got 2 Majestics so far. The first box we opened was just outright bad. So it was only 5 Majestics, 1 Rainbow Foil. It's been 6 Majestics for the other boxes so far. One, again, with 1 Rainbow Foil, and one that did not have a Rainbow Foil Majestic, but we were fine with that because of, you know, the other things that we opened in that particular box. But here we are now 3 Majestics deep already as we open a Dishonor, which is a fantastic ninja card that I can't wait to play around with. We get a foil Fletch a Yellowtail. Maybe that becomes playable if Prism ever does a thing. Hey, we had our cold foil. The downside though is that it is a Seeker's Hood, which is disappointing, not just because it's a Seeker's Hood. Now here's the thing: it does look really good in the cold foil, but it's also disappointing because this is our second one, and also this one appears to have maybe like a tiny smudge up here. It looks like. So just came out of the pack that way. It's not too bad, but it's definitely up there. So we already get a repeat of our cold foil that was bad. Now this one was cracked bauble, so technically cold foil in front of the cracked bauble, that part came true. It was just also still awful. So little disappointing that we see that so early in the box as well. We'll move this around. We'll just set it there. But also, again, I don't even mind like when I pull the common cold foil stuff. I just want them to be different. So the fact that we got 2 of the same one out of this case, a little bit of a bummer. But now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey, I saw your last video. Why are you even complaining? You had a really good pull. And the answer is that was last box. We're moving on. We can't live in the past. We're only caring about this box. And so far, I feel like complaining. Oh, it's cathartic, okay? I'm just incredibly disappointed at how many times I'm going to open Seeker's Hood, apparently. I'm not seeking the Seeker's stuff, and yet I keep finding it. We're just going to focus on the rest of this box that will potentially still yield a banger, right? We're, I think, far enough in to declare that this is likely not a God box. We've had a lot of the common foils there, So I think if we were, again, having any sort of distribution errors, we probably would have hit something by now. If for whatever reason you're only just watching this video for the first time and you haven't watched the entire series and you're not familiar, again, some of the boxes have rainbow foil legendaries and rainbow foil fables in inordinate amounts because of an issue during printing where they were feeding those in common foil slots as opposed to the appropriate ones. So basically, like, think when you would pull a common foil, instead you have a high chance of pulling like a rare. So I feel like we would have pulled something by now. Foil would be like water, 3 rares at least. But nothing else of note here. Now, it's not like the entire box is like just chock full of legends, mind you. It seems to be like in those boxes where the error occurred, because there was also a very small window during the print run where they described it. It's like you get a box or whatever that's got like, I don't know, 6 to 8 legends, something like that in it. So it's not like it's every time you expect, you know, a box full. It's not like you're going to open 24 packs and get 24 legends, but you would just expect a higher rate, right? And so once you've opened enough, you can kind of, I think anyway, come to the conclusion like, hey, this wasn't one of those boxes. And I think we've crossed that threshold here. I do not believe we are finding a God box in this first case. But again, we have multiple cases, so there's hope as my camera goes blurry on me. Once again, we'll fix that here in just a moment as we throw some new stuff for it to focus on, perhaps, maybe. And follow the hand. Am I going too fast for you? Yeah, I was just going too fast for my silly webcam. At some point, I want to get a real fixed mount for like a dedicated opening area. But that's going to kind of require me to redo a large chunk of my office and my setup. For now, one, we have another Majestic. We had a Buzzsaw Trap, so we're up to 4 Majestics now. But also for now, I am just trying to utilize my streaming setup and then a secondary webcam for the top down, which is why it's kind of so jank. And I feel bad about that, but we're approaching the halfway point and we've already hit our cold foil and 4 Majestics. So there is a strong chance the rest of this box is going to be pretty lackluster because our ratios thus far have been 6 Majestics, which means we're going to open like half a box and only hit 2 along with no cold foil because, you know, we keep finding Seeker Sids. 3 rare pack though. But yeah, basically the rest of the box is going to be a lot like this, I feel like. Now, once again, this is one of those situations where like, I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to be right, but I don't know. The numbers, the math says otherwise. Now, the last box we opened did not have a Rainbow Foil Majestic. In past sets, it's not been uncommon for me to open boxes that had 2 Rainbow Foil Majestics. In fact, I would almost dare say like that's the norm. I think things were toned down a bit for this set. So this is my long-winded way of saying I wouldn't be shocked if we do end up with a 2 Rainbow Foil Majestic box. And of course, as I say that, we open one of them. So we get a Spike Pit Trap. And I believe we already opened a foil one of these, so this actually might be an extra now. I'll have to go back and double check, but I feel like Spike Pit Trap was something in our first box that was foil. So my thought process was interrupted there because I was like, ooh, shiny. My crow brain went a little bit off the rails there. But what I was starting to say is it wouldn't surprise me if, for whatever reason, because we missed one in the previous box, that we get 2 Rainbow Foil Majestics this time. But we're up to 5. This is already, so we're only like halfway. Fighting a sneeze. We're only like halfway through this box, and this is already essentially my first box. The first box, the very first video when I was like, hey, this is bad, it was like literally cold foil, Seeker's Equipment, 1 Rainbow Foil Majestic, 5 total. We're already there. So either we're still going to end up at least slightly better than that first box, or we've literally hit everything in this, and the second half of this box is just going to be a nightmare. And I'm hoping that's not the case, but it is worth kind of mentioning that we are dangerously close to looking a lot like that first box for whatever reason. It's not the sort of thing that you want to repeat. So we're just going to slide down to the Hurl. Along with Fletcha Bluetail, we get a foil Short and Sharp, Threadbare Tunic, and some tokens. Now, as far as like actually sorting my stuff, right now I'm doing it by rarity. At some point later, I'll go through all my stuff and see like what I have playsets of and what I don't. But for now, I just kind of pile everything into boxes based on rarity, and then I'll go back through. Of course, I shouldn't say like everything into boxes, because you know the good stuff that I open gets sleeved and put away proper. I'm not a savage, right? I'm not gonna like toss Marvels in a box with regular foils or anything. But we do get a foil, rainbow foil Seeker's Mitts again. I've been saying that I feel like the rainbow foil equipment is much higher distribution this set for some reason, and I'm not against it. I think, if anything, because, again, equipment doesn't get shuffled into your deck, if there's a card you want to be in rainbow foil, it's probably those, because, you know, I've talked about how I'm a little bit disappointed at how strict they are on including foils in your deck for the Pringling. And again, I know you want to maintain competitive integrity, and I know that there are some folks out there that, you know, will abuse it. I guess part of my other problem as well is just that, I don't know, like I'm not, like I understand cheating is a thing, but like I'm not wired to do it. So like I just get frustrated when the existence of cheating impacts me for things that I like want to do, but wasn't doing specifically, you know? Basically what I'm saying is I still want to run foils in my deck, because, ooh, shiny Crowbrain. But the problem is like, even if you do everything to mitigate it, you could still have an issue. You still have to like go to the judge and say, hey, you know, do I need to put any proxies in here? And then there's also the whole, like, doesn't even matter if you're taking steps to mitigate it. Like you could make your entire deck out of foils, but if only some are Pringled and then some aren't, then that could be a problem. Like, it's just the need for the uniformity of your cards and the inability to properly control how your cards warp. Like, that's what frustrates me. So thankfully the cold foils don't seem to have that problem, but we don't have a lot of like stuff that goes in the deck as cold foils, because cold foils are most commonly equipment or, you know, Marvels, or, you know, extremely rare cards like Fables, and it's not like, you know, the bread and butter of your deck build, right? So, Withering Shot foil. Hey, look, a Seeker's Hood. Card's going to be the death of me. All right. So, second half of this box going exactly as I predicted, which is unfortunate. Again, this is one of those situations where I want to be wrong, but we're down to just 4 packs left. And it's looking a lot like that first box, which was not a great box by any stretch of the imagination. And if we did in fact end up with duplicates like I suspect, then it hurts even worse, right? Because it's not just like that the box was bad, but also that it was bad twice over. It wasn't even, you know, bad in those directions. But of course, as I say all this, we do open at least a 6th Majestic. We get an Amnesia, which is, I think, my 3rd. It's at least my 2nd, but I think that's my 3rd. We might have a playset of those already. I forget. Ha ha ha. You see what I did there? Toxicity, which again looks really good in foil. Fisticuffs tokens. But we did at least hit that 6 majestic spot, so we're better than that really awful first box. That first box, like I said, I don't, mean to sound dramatic. I don't want it to be hyperbole, but it was legitimately, I think, like the worst box I'd ever opened, with only 5 majestics, and then the one cold foil that was lackluster. And I get it. Everybody has to have like one box that's the worst, because it's relative term and all that. Everybody has a worst box they've ever opened, but yeesh, it just feels bad when it was like right out of the gate. Your first box of your first case of trying to open stuff from a new set, and you're all excited, and you're like, oh. Like I feel bad, like if you were somebody who's just starting the game, and so you bought a booster box and like that was your box. That would have been kind of rough. Also, just kind of realizing so far, it's only been the one legendary so far this case, and I don't think, for being honest here, gang, that we're going to hit another one at this rate, because we've only got one pack left after this. And because, again, we've already hit our 6 majestics, we've hit our cold foil, so this is it. Last pack of this case. This might end up being just a one legendary case, though. Again, we did have the Marvel. So it's hard to complain when you open the Marvel, but down to the rare. Not looking like this is going to be any sort of legendary. Do get a foil Descendant Gustwave in red, very playable, but no legendary. So this first case, 4 boxes in, we had one Marvel, which was a really good Marvel, so very hard to complain there. One Rainbow Foil Legendary, and that's it. Really worth of note. 6 majestics per box, with the exception of the first one. So that's what, 18, 23 majestics total. 3 of them, so 23 majestics, 20 of them regular, 3 that were rainbow foil, and cold foils that were basically commons minus the Marvel. Nothing to really write home about, but this is it for case number 1. So I got 2 more to open. We're still going to continue the hunt for the God Box, but also we're just going to continue the hunt for legendary equipment, because there are things that I need to open to play with. I want to flick knives, and I need a shroud. If I'm putting my wish list out there, I'd really like to open a Fable, even if it's just rainbow foil, because it's going to go in my deck lists. But that's it for this. So if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you for case number 2 as we continue the hunt.